Let me tell you the story about how, for a short time, me and my buddies were able to reverse the pecking order of Ark, and get filthy rich in the process too. It all started off with me spawning in on the beach. Today was a very exciting day. You see, the servers I was playing on, the Conquest cluster, for the next 30 days would be island only, the first map that ever came out with this game. Now why that's important is, a lot of them were broken shit in this game, like griffins, pyramanes, flamethrowers, basically all the busted shit that these giant tribes used to pick on everybody else, were added in later maps. So giant tribes wouldn't be able to rely on these pretty low skill methods to succeed. And what's more, is that back when I took this game seriously, and we're talking about 2018 or 2019 here guys, these are dinosaur ages, I used to be really good at island only PvP. And most island only PvP is based around the bola. Basically a bunch of rocks tied to the end of a fucking string that takes a fucking long time to wind up, and even when fully wound up is a very slow projectile. But if you do manage to hit someone, they can't move for 30 seconds. All in all, a very difficult but rewarding weapon to use. And so with the meta changing to be a little bit more skillful PvP, me and my boys, who you've heard me refer to as the Goopers before, fully intended to capitalize on this short window and terrorize the giant tribes of the server. Now on the server we were on, we knew there was a giant tribe set up on Carno Island in the far northeast that was well over 25 strong. So we first began by prowling the metal mountains south of them. Anytime they wanted to get metal, they'd have to come down here. So it wouldn't take us particularly long to find one of them.
PT guy leaving Carno.
Okay, we're coming. We saw one of their guys leaving Carno Island. We tracked him and soon found his landed PT doing some weird shit. I bullet PT.
100 meters, I'm coming. Look out for that.
Guys right here. And after he got bowled, it was over. I don't even fucking know what this guy was doing. He was destroying a bed in an already raided base. Mind you, not a base that he had raided, but a base that someone else had raided and he came by and was just destroying the beds. Some certified freak shit. What I did know, however, is that I now had his pistol, and that his very high level 289 PT was now dead. After this, we soon saw another PT flying over our heads from the same tribe. He hadn't seen us, and we saw him flying up towards the mountain. So we followed him, where eventually Brother Box got the jump on him.
Wait.
Please land, please land, please land, please land. I'm right here. I don't know. That on him. Ball is PT.
Okay, give me
He's chugging medbridge like a freak.
Okay, keep him torch. Okay.
Ball, fuck him up. Nice,
Nice, bro. Nice. That had been pretty damn easy. These guys were strutting around like they owned the fucking place. Having now gotten decent gear for everybody, we started to make our way down south where we would build our actual base. You see, when it had been announced that Conquest would be island only for 30 days, guys who were used to abusing broken shit got pissed. And when we were in the Discord saying we were excited for the wipe, they would alternate between dropping weird insults like calling us weak piss ants, whatever that's supposed to mean, or these backhanded ass statements like, I can be one of the biggest tribes and be alpha one island server if I wanted to, but I'm just thinking about smaller tribes. Inexperienced players like you, for example. You just don't understand what island only would mean. But no, I think we both understand exactly what island only would mean. And that's why me and my boys were so excited for it. No more broken, busted tames. The big tribes would have to stand on their own 2 feet and actually fight us. Having made it to our base spot, we started setting down roots. We should do like right here, I guess. With our shit little stone 2x2 shack down, it's probably a good time to mention that this server is a week into wipe, so we are trying to actively compete with tribes of over 25 people with a 1 week head start. How the fuck are we gonna manage that? Well, I've got this old enemy that I've been beefing with on and off for more than 5 years now, named Flumi. You might remember him from the Becoming a Hero video. Now this is a guy who plays the ArcPoc servers that wipe monthly, and every single month for the past 5 years without failure, he has set up in the exact same base with the exact same building style every single time. You could set a fucking clock to this guy. At the time of editing, I went to go check, and would you believe it, he's still there. So I intended to adapt a little bit of his strategy for myself. You see, what he does is he just builds a super simple base, puts a couple turrets on it, and then just begins building the dirt cheap Plant Species X turrets all around his base. And he'll just keep fucking expanding until the end of days. Basically, it's not that his base is hard to raid, it's really not. These plants are super easy to break, but he has so fucking many that it's too much of a pain in the ass to raid him, and he just lives on by. The fucking porcupine defense. And so in this harsh environment of a server with these big ass fucking tribes, I decided to adopt the plan of my greatest enemy. I'd build in the same way. Simple base, and then expand as far out as I can with plant species. As a further tip of my cap to my greatest enemy, I built in roughly the same spot that he always does. And with the basics of our base now set up, my team went out and tamed up all the farming dinos we needed. One of us went out and tamed a Thesi so we could get wood. Another tamed a Diodicarus for stone. I went off to the Redwoods Mountain to tame an Argentavis for carrying shit around. I got aimbotted by a Chinese hacker. What the fuck? Now, he did take all my shit and kill my pterodon, but he left the Argy, so he's a fucking good guy. I also decided to dress up as an ancient Roman triarii. Now, usually when I skin my outfits like this, there's a reason behind it, but there's nothing here this time. I just think triarii look kind of cool. Also, I wish they weren't completely ass units in Total War Rome 2. Anyway, with my cool outfit on and all the farming tames we could need, even if they are at pretty shitty levels, we got to work on expanding our crop plot empire.
Yeah.
56 crop plots made. We're already. With a shit ton of plants now all around the base, there was now a giant area around the base protected by these pretty shitty turrets. So I made sure to upgrade the base to metal. And as our final piece de resistance, we took another page out of Flumy's book and used the fake tree tech. By fighting the guy, I had learned that apparently you could dig up trees with shovels and just replant them wherever the fuck you want. So now we made our base super hidden under a giant canopy of trees. Flumy's control over the natural world was so powerful that by copying even a small fraction of his gardening powers, we now had a pretty well defended base. And seeing as the base was well enough defended, and frankly getting sick of farming, I guess literally in this case because I'm putting things in the dirt, we decided to go start the Great Grub War against the giant tribes on the server. We flew back to that northeast mountain we'd been hanging around earlier. This time we flew across the strait and actually checked out the island, where we found that every inch of it was completely covered by turrets, so we couldn't even land there without dying. But we did find out that the guys we'd been beefing with were called Homeless, which I guess is a very ironic name for someone with the nicest home on the server. So anyway, we returned to the mountain and waited to catch a couple more of them going on metal runs.
Wait, hold on. Is this us?
That's them, that's them, that's them, that's them! Picked him, picked him, picked him. He grappled me, bro. Pick him again. Oh, nice, 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 nice. He's in the water. Okay, we'll get the PT, we'll get the PT so he doesn't escape.
I killed him,
Oh, he's dead. You need to go him.
Oh my god, he had 60
do you have it or
grapples
not?
on him. Literally 60 grapples.
60 grapples? As you could tell by my expression, 60 grapples was an absurd amount for this guy to be carrying. That's 540 metal worth of grapples. For reference, our entire base cost probably 1,000 metal. And then you consider the fact that he was carrying Ascendant flak armor, which is 10 times as protective as the shit we're wearing, and we can't even craft because we don't have the blueprint for it.
Where was he? Was he actually going to fight Thanos, bro? What was he
Look
doing?
at this loot.
And then you realize by killing this one guy, we had basically doubled our net worth. Unsurprisingly, they weren't happy about this, so they brought out a motorboat covered in turrets, which was pretty lame. So we just sort of backed off for a little bit, and then as soon as they thought the coast was clear to do more farming, we got ready to jump them again.
Oh, RG. I see an RG.
Ping. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Let him get a little closer. Let him get a little closer. Don't get seen. Stay away. Don't get seen. Don't get seen. Let him get real close. Yeah. Unbeknownst to this guy on an RG, he was walking into a crazy ambush. We had one guy hiding in the forest over here, another guy hiding in the forest over here, and I was directly above him. So he was just kind of flying into the middle of us. Okay, now let's get him now. Let's get him now. I picked him up. He fell.
Okay,
Bullet him.
he's fucked. Oh, he's dead.
This poor guy must have been an actual farm slave for the tribe. The last guy we killed had 2 sets of ascendant flak armor on him. This guy had 1 set of primitive flak. The guy we killed before had 60 grapples, this guy had 0. And even worse than that, the previous guy had like custom recipe burgers and drinks on him, and this guy was stuck eating cooked fish meat. These guys don't even get to eat as good as the higher ranking members of the tribe. Needless to say, our financial situation did not greatly improve upon this kill, although we did kill the RG and Anki he had brought out to mine metal. After this, homeless kind of learned their lesson and didn't come down to the mountain for a while, so we got kind of bored and went home. While home, we received a death message telling us that level 22 Heckin' Chonker had been killed. This had been a cat that we had left in the far southern hunter cave, meaning there was some evil kitty murder in that cave, right? Meow. I'm sorry, I genuinely could not help myself. So we hopped on pterodons and speeded over there as fast as we could.
Let's avenge Heckin' Chonker.
There's only one exit from this cave, so we set up and waited for whoever was inside to come out. And thus began the most scuffed fight in all of Ark history.
Albert, look.
I hear flak! Right here, I bowled him! After bowling him, we found out it was one of the homeless guys. He clearly wasn't used to being bowled because he tried to use a grappling hook to get away from us, apparently not realizing that grapples don't work when you're bowled. And so we just began wailing on him. But this guy was clearly wearing the good flak, because after breaking out of the bola, we could see his armor wasn't even scuffed up at all.
He's free.
We continued chasing him, and then this random iguanodon guy wanted to try to get involved, so I just quickly bowled him, and that was that. He fucked off.
Just catch him and hold him for a second. Nice. Bullet, drop.
And eventually we caught back up to the homeless guy. Again, after bowling him, 3 of us started wailing on him, but my pike, the only weapon I had on me, was running out of durability, so I began hitting him with my psychological attacks.
Don't put that pressure on.
Oh my gosh.
Should be dead by now.
Ping him. Okay,
I got him.
nice. I'm going for bola. With him being bowled a 3rd time in this fight, I had no choice but to try to quickly craft a club while my buddies beat on him, and luckily they managed to knock him out. And thus concluded the most scuffed fight I've ever been in. This is how Mega Tribers play when they don't have griffins, pyromades, and fucking flamethrowers. Had that guy fought back even the smallest amount, he easily would have killed all 3 of us. Even when he was bowled, he didn't fight back. He just kind of sat there and took it. Like, you can't move for 30 seconds, dude. You might as well swing at us a little bit. The guy was so non-threatening that I felt totally comfortable writing a shit talk message in chat while within melee range of him. And so now I hope you could see exactly why I was so excited for an island-only wipe. Strip away all their broken shit and you're not left with particularly much. With this done, the first day of the Great Grub War was over. Certainly a solid start, but compared to what would come next, today was nothing. Day 2 began peacefully enough. I woke up and first thing I did is I tended to my garden of plant species X, really kind of becoming some sort of 80-year-old grandma gardener. Then I flew to the far west to collect some pearls, where I got jumped by 2 weak piss ants or whatever that guy had called us. They killed my bird while I tried to get my tubby body on the iceberg, but eventually they were slain for their insolence. Very poor showing, boys. So these guys really just kind of made it a hassle for me to do like a fucking chore, basically. After this, Brother Box himself ran into some trouble. One of the homeless guys on a pterodon had jumped him. Bowling the bird, they were both sent plummeting down.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Look at this. A wild capro gives the guy jumping box the easiest bowl of all time, and instead he does nothing. Just stands there and watches. At this point, I showed up to help. Another insane set of armor for us. Not exactly a stellar performance from Homeless, especially considering the fact they got the jump on my buddy. Funny as this was however a big problem, as this had happened basically just outside of base. So, unsurprisingly, a bunch of these homeless guys showed up to raid us basically instantly, which is a crazy sentence. It wasn't really all that much we could do. The base was barely set up, there was fewer of us, and they had insane gear. And also, they raided in the Mego tribe fashion. You see, at their level, when you raid someone, you're not necessarily trying to kill players or even break into the base. Instead, what you're trying to do is clear foundation claim around the enemy's base so you can place your own and just continuously move up turrets. And since the range of turrets is higher than the range of foundations, you can make it so that their base is under the cover of your turrets, which is exactly what they ended up doing. Basically, as soon as you step foot outside the front door, if you didn't immediately turn around and go behind the base, you would get shot by turrets, which by the way do 800 damage a second, so they'll kill you pretty much instantly. In my opinion, it's a pretty fucking lame way to raid. But I suppose it does work, and these big tribes are very experienced in raiding this kind of way. What they're not experienced in, however, is grub plays. So see, when our central base was blown into, it didn't particularly matter because 1, we actually had all of our loot hidden in little storage boxes throughout the area covered by plant species X, none of which they'd gotten to, so we still had basically all of our shit. And 2, while turrets do require a central generator to keep them running, plant species X don't. So all of our plants were still up and running. Homeless still wanted to clear these out, but it didn't make sense to move up a turret to every little part of the base. So now, for the first time during this whole raid, they would be leaving the protection of their turrets. This meant we had just gone from a raid defense to a good old grubbing in the jungle, which was much more our style. Fucking guy was this loaded, walking around with a broken piece of armor. Of course, his buddies rushed to try to retrieve his gear, but Chad was able to just disappear off into the plant species we still had. And now, having acquired a very high quality sniper off of them, the jungle grubbing could continue. A guy had been sniped off the croc, allowing us to go in and snatch up more loot.
Yeah, it's that one, it's that one. Okay. When you see, grab as much as you can, fill your pockets.
Oh my days. This guy was fucking juiced. 60 C4! And of course, I too retreated into the thick jungle covered by our plants, and I was safe. We had lost the base defense, but we had won the grub battle. We'd lost 25% of our loot, none of which was the shit we'd taken off of them, it was just assorted resources, and about a quarter of our tames. Everything else was hidden in little storage boxes in our area, and so we simply grabbed everything and retreated north through the jungle where the enemies could not pursue us. Despite our home now being nothing but a collection of rubble, we were somehow richer for it because of all the shit we'd taken off of them. However, to homeless, it seemed like they had finally ridded themselves of a pest. Not realizing we were basically still at full strength, we made our way to a new base spot far to the west. And while the whole server thought we were dead, we regathered our strength and rebuilt our base in the exact same fashion. Homeless thought that through one fell swoop they had ended this war. They couldn't have been more wrong. Basically, everything was going good. We were excited to get back at them, except we did have one problem. One of the goopers found a video where I apparently sounded like one of the people in it.
Where are your fingers?
In my butt right here.
Why?
Why?
Yes.
Why? Because they fit better in there.
I'm gonna be honest, guys, I really don't hear it. At any rate, with the base now decently set up, we were spoiling for a fight. So we once again began roaming, and we were out here for a fat minute. There didn't really seem to be anybody out when I heard something.
I heard a shotgun right here.
Some shotguns off in the woods to my right. I went to investigate and I found homeless on a metal run. By shooting some wild dinos that attacked them, they had alerted us of their presence. So we moved in to jump them.
Tech shooter!
They had a tech guy on their side. This armor gives you superhuman abilities. Basically makes you into fucking Iron Man.
I'm in there. Oh no, but he tech punched me. Bowled him? He's bowled?
We managed to bola him, but this did nothing. He could still use his flying ability to get out of there. And so he could jump in and out of the fight as he pleased, causing great damage to us. He might be immune to bolas, but he's not immune to my PT.
I'm just gonna C-spin, bro. C-spinned again.
I kept C-spinning him and doing good damage to his armor, but they had sent in reinforcements.
This tech punch, he's trying to tech punch you off your PT. Oh, just dead.
Forward it.
About as soon as his bird hit the floor, it was killed. But seeing that the tech guy was still flying above us and shooting down, I mounted back on my bird and got back to C-spinning him. As I kept the tech guy at bay, the goopers had bullied a guy. Another fat kit to add to our pile. Seeing that the battle clearly could not be won, those that were still alive fled to their island. We had just sent a tech guy packing, killed the tames these guys been using on a metal run, and looted 2 kits off of them. For a tribe that had apparently just been raided and completely destroyed, we weren't doing too bad at all. We even looted their ascendant shark slippers off of them. So I returned to base the comfiest triari ever known to man. Upon going back and depoting all the good shit we'd gotten, I spent a little bit of time AFK, before once again returning to our prowling grounds just south of Homeless's base, where we heard someone waking up nearby.
There's a guy here,
Despite just waking up, this guy had flak on him. He was transferring in from another server. This guy could be really juiced.
I'm gonna go for a pick, just to hold him in place for a second. I'm holding him. I got a trap.
Let me pull him.
He was like,
Followed him.
He's dead.
Yeah.
fuck him up, Lou.
Whoa! Whoa!
Oh my.
Checking his inventory, we didn't find particularly much. Just 2 sets of the best flak imaginable, 40 C4, 20 rockets and a launcher, Mastercraft compound bow, and a cryoed Rhino Ginthia. A very high level of one of the most difficult tames to get in the entire game. Very quickly, his buddy showed up to come and avenge him, but now genuinely overstuffed with loot, we've had no choice but to run away. We returned to base and reveled in the insane amount of loot we had just gotten. By the way, this rhino had D&T in its name, which stands for do not touch, meaning the other members of this guy's tribe weren't even allowed to use it. And I guess this now extends to the owner too, seeing as he can't use it either. Now you might be wondering why exactly that guy had been so loaded. Well, when you're transferring in from another server, you have the option of spawning in with all your loot on you, and so when you get a little bit overconfident like these guys, you might decide to spawn in the most populated beach on the map, at which point you spawn in the middle of like 4 or 5 goopers and just donate your kit to them. Now these guys hadn't been homeless, the guys we've been fucking with on Carnal Island, but just a set of server raiders coming over to grief. And I gotta say, we really appreciated that kit donation. After this, we found Homeless in a raid not too far from our base. They'd landed a Zeppelin, set down a couple heavy turrets, and were preparing to raid a base. Much later on, we would find out that one of the high-ranking members of the Homeless tribe was actually a streamer. So turning back the clock to a bit before they landed the Zeppelin, he had some very interesting words to say.
Serenade, I've seen a couple of people ask it. I'll just make it easy. We we were PvPing, but we weren't really trying to wipe anybody. We were just letting people do whatever they wanted. But too many people got a little too cocky, started smarting off, having a bunch of shit to say. So now I just don't give a fuck about any of them. They can all catch hands, and that's what's happening. If we find your base, you better hope you got some shit to fight us with. If not, it's going bye-bye. And it's gonna go bye-bye every time. If you build another one, it's going bye-bye again. This is why you wipe Bobs, because a Bob doesn't understand that he's a Bob, and he doesn't understand where he is in the pecking order of things happening in Ark. But you got to understand that if you poke the bear too many times, the bear's gonna bite you. This is the bear getting tired of all these little ants.
Pecking order of Ark, huh? That's certainly an interesting way to phrase it. Anyway, snap back to the present, and despite this being all painfully close to our hidden base, we decided to try fighting them a little bit. Of course, because of the heavies, we couldn't exactly push them, so we just started flying around, goading them into a fight, and it was at this point that we met a man that we knew only as Sniper Cuck, because he would just kind of sit in turrets and snipe out at us. But luckily, a few of their more brave-hearted members decided to push out on us.
Pick too early, hold up. Picked and dropped. Picked him back.
Good shit.
Sniper Cuck is shooting.
He's gonna die.
I picked him, I'm holding him.
For some reason, this guy had a cryoed stego on him. Mind you, one with very good HP, which he just kind of fed to us in the dumbest way possible. In fact, one of his tribe mates had something to say about that.
I don't even know what to say now. It's just like, I told you to get your fucking dumb ass back over this hill towards the turrets.
I tried.
No, you didn't. You were fucking around. Thought you were gonna fight 3 dudes. We don't care. We don't need to chase them. I don't know why everybody has such a hard on. Why give up our position? We want the base. We don't care about these mobs.
Honestly, that's some very sage advice. If they simply just ignored us, we'd have no recourse. But right after saying that, he mounted up on a pterodon and pushed us.
Enemy PT, enemy PT. Sniper Cuck is getting feisty, bro. He's going right for you guys, so watch out. Picked and dropped.
I bite him. I kill him. Oh,
Okay.
See, that's what it is right there.
Following these deaths, they decided they would actually listen to their own advice and not really come out of turrets anymore. The fact that we had managed to get a fucking stego off of these guys was pretty nice. And jumping these guys was always fun, minus getting constantly shot by Sniper Cuck, of course. After we had backed off, Homeless had some very choice words for us.
It doesn't matter. These mobs will log off and we'll raid them when we find their base again for the millionth time.
Cool, planning an offline raid on us already. After that, we just kind of backed off and went to roam elsewhere, where we found an Argentavis guy.
I picked him.
Drop his ass, bruh.
We killed the guy in his RG, and he belonged to the second biggest tribe on the server. Built up on a snow mountain, they were known as BTA, whatever the fuck that stood for. And after killing this guy, we got a really weird message from one of his tribe mates in chat, talking about fucking my protected one. I didn't realize we attacked this guy's Discord kitten, but we would actually see this Godfather guy a little bit later.
He is over here. He was hiding. I followed him. He's over here.
I'm coming.
That's BTA. Albert, go to attack me. His PT is over here.
Ping. Get the PT.
Got the PT.
Finish off that bird.
Okay, I'm finish off the bird. You
I'm
follow
looking
him.
for dude. Oh, he's up on the rock above, yeah.
500 meters.
Bullet him. Going for a club. I'm up in his face clubbing. Nice, good kill.
Seems like this guy couldn't protect his protected one or even himself. And then this guy's kit was insanely fat. The best possible armor in the game, a 300 damage long neck, a 200 damage fabricated sniper, fucking ascendant riot shield, even little shit like scuba. He had that ascendant even though that provides 0 armor. So all in all, this guy was carrying like 15,000 metal worth of gear on him. Meanwhile, his quote-unquote protected one had like 500 metal worth of shit on him. That's how these big tribes work. You have farmers whose only job is to sit and harvest resources so that their PvPers can go out and lose them to us. With this final grub, day 2 had concluded. And what an eventful day it had been. It had started off with us getting raided and had ended by us accruing over 100,000 metal worth of items just by fighting people. In fact, we were starting to feel loot fatigue. By the end, we would kill a guy and we wouldn't know what to do with his shit. Everybody was already fully kitted out and we had to spend time making space for more loot. Which, all in all, means this war wasn't going too bad for us after all. Waking up on day 3, I had found that we had been offlined. As we'd all been sleeping, BTA had come through and raided our base. Now, our theory was, and still is, that BTA and Homeless were allies because they lived so close to each other for so long, and upset with all the grubbing we had done yesterday, Homeless had kind of sicked BTA on us, because when we found the raid base of BTA, just behind it, we found the sleeping bags of Homeless. If I was a little bit more clever, there's probably a good joke there about homeless people sleeping behind our base. Now, I'm assuming the last raid had been so AIDS and unprofitable for Homeless, they kind of just sent their little fucking puppy after us. But BTA had done a pretty shit job. They had just made a straight shot to our central base and then just left. And because of that, all our hidden little loot stashes were still perfectly intact. We'd barely lost anything at all. I mean, yeah, true, getting your base turned into just a ruin is definitely inconvenient, but within 2 hours, we were back to working like nothing at all had happened. The war would continue. The Flumi base design had actually worked. We'd gotten raided, but fully clearing us out would have been too much of a pain in the ass, so we were still kicking. Big ups to my boy Flumi. Now, it was a very good thing that we were back up and running so fast, because I had received word from someone on the server that Homeless had tamed a Titan, by far the most difficult tame to get in the entire game. In fact, it's considered so powerful that after taming it, you can only use it for 24 hours before it starves. So we quickly set to killing it. Now this might seem completely suicidal, and in part it definitely was, but it wasn't completely hopeless. You see, we had Thylos, and their primary bite attack does a 5-second debuff that takes off 5% of the enemy's health no matter how much HP they have. So this tiny little cat, compared to the Titan at least, is able to take down much larger foes. So me and 3 buddies began looking all over the map to find where this Titan was. Eventually we found it not particularly far from our base to the northwest. It seems they were using it to clear out some old raided base. But luckily Titans render in far before any other creature, so we sat outside of their render distance observing them, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. We had 2 Thylos and 2 Pterodons with us. The enemy had about 3 Pterodons. If they managed to pick any of us, they could easily just drop us in front of the Titan where we'd easily be killed. But this is a risk we'd simply have to take. If we could kill that Titan, even if it meant all of our tames died, this would be a great success. I knew the structure these guys were destroying with the Titan, so just across the shore from them, unable to be seen, we waited until they went from the 2nd story to the ground level, at which point they would be partially encased in metal pillars which would restrict their movement. With all of us ready to lay down our lives just for a small chance of killing that thing, I ordered us to go across.
Okay, I think now's our chance, guys. We gotta go. Help with him.
I'll take him.
Making it to the iceberg, I set my Pterodons to skirmishing with the enemy flyers. If they could simply keep them away from us, this Titan wouldn't stand a chance.
Climb, climb, climb. Bit it, bit it, bit it, bit it, bit it.
Picked.
Brother Box had been picked. The enemy dragged him in front of the Titan. He had just barely survived. He was weak, but still in the fight. Meanwhile, I had to focus on killing the Titan as soon as possible.
Bit it again, bit it again.
Back down by the PTs, they'd bullied, knocked out, and killed an enemy player. Directly because of this, I remained uncontested as I kept biting the Titan.
They're bringing the Zeppelin down. Bro, I'm stuck inside the Zeppelin.
This guy had just missed the easiest bolo of all time. I was gonna make him pay for it.
It's dead! Titan dead! Let's fucking go, bro!
The Titan was dead. As the Zeppelin rider flew away, my Pterodon riders faced another enemy. The enemies were choking. They were barely putting up a fight at all. We spent some time scouring the ground, making sure we looted everything, and then gave chase to the Zeppelin rider. You see, he tried to make a run for it. I mean, he'd even gotten out of render distance of us. But Zeppelins are slow, really fucking slow, and we knew exactly where he would be going. So all we did was follow the path home, and soon we found him. Not only was there a guy piloting the Zeppelin, but there was also a guy grappled to the underside running for his life. Some real Fall of Saigon type shit. Us Thyla riders waited down below, so all the Pterodon guys had to do was bring them down to us.
Let the pro.
I picked him. It's FTW.
I see.
Let's cancel his parachute.
The Zeppelin guy's trying to go for him, I think.
Box, I need stamina alone.
Yeah.
Where is he?
He didn't parachute. He's dead.
Is
He's
he
by the
actually
fold hands
dead,
right
bro?
here.
Bro, let me get his flak.
A very juicy kit, including a cryod PT. But for now, we focus on killing the Zeppelin rider. Now, he knew exactly what would happen if he was pulled off that Zeppelin, so he tried really fucking hard to make sure that didn't happen. Like a fucking tick that was dug in, my guys were struggling to get him off that Zeppelin. But eventually,
Follow my bird. I'm in here. I'm on
Drop
here.
him off.
he despawned the Titan saddle, as if we gave a fuck. With him falling to the ground, us Thylos got to work. He'd bowled me off my Thylo, but it was way too late for that to matter. The rest of my guys kept giving chase to him.
I think he's naked on the back of it.
He's dead.
Basically, as soon as everybody was dead, that's when their PT reinforcements showed up. Obviously, it was way too late for them.
He's down in the water, he's down in the water, he's down in the water. Right here.
Pike cook.
I'm gonna bite too.
He's
He's dead, bro, he's dead.
With this final kill, the battle was won. And what a battle it had been. We'd gone in fully expecting to die and maybe kill the Titan in the process. Instead, we killed the Titan, killed the people defending it, killed the people running away, and then killed the reinforcements. And in the process, we had looted one of their pterodons, which we quickly uncryoed at base. Now, a good PT of ours might have had 1600 HP, 600 stamina, 250 weight, and about 300 melee. These guys had been using PTs with about 2,500 HP, 1000 stamina, 500 weight, and 450 melee. So now with us getting our hands on one of their pterodons, this was a pretty big come up. This pterodon was also a cool purple color, which I liked. And so from henceforth, I would use this pterodon. A few hours after this, we once again found homeless raiding the guys to the north of us, who I suppose had decided to rebuild after the first raid. By the time we found them, it was already way too late to save the base. They'd blown into it and taken most of the loot. But all the same, we hovered around looking for a fight. Eventually, 2 of the homeless guys would come out on stegos. Now you see, this was a bit of a problem, because stegos have very good HP, but more importantly than that, the rider is fully protected. He can't be damaged or dismounted in any way. Now the same thyla bleed that killed the Titan also does apply to stegos, but that takes quite a while. And we could see exactly what these guys were doing was trying to bait the thylos into attacking them, so they could then just retreat back a short distance into some hidden turrets they had in a bush that would kill the thylo riders. Which, if we're being completely honest, is pretty fucking lame. Like, they're done even trying to fight us and now they're just trying to turret bait us. But you see, I'm a bit of a pterodon freak, and so when I saw them standing next to this cliff, just trying to bait us to come up there and get shot by turrets, I had a bit of an idea. Stegos are very resilient to knockback, but they're standing awfully close to that cliff edge right there. So maybe, just maybe, if I hurled my PT at them like a fucking madman, I might just be able to knock them down. I had knocked the stego down. He couldn't go back into turrets. Soon his stego buddy came by to try to save him, and he too was knocked down the cliff. With both stegos now exposed, our thylo riders got to work. In response to this, a third stego came, and they just began rocket spamming us.
RPG, RPG!
Rocket,
Homing!
Wait, I dodged it.
RPG! Fuck's sake, bro!
Thank God they donated their PT to me. My old one wouldn't have survived that. Sick of the rocket spam, however, we pushed the 2 stegos apart and then began focusing one of them. Before long, the stego was dead, and we focused on killing the now dismounted rider.
This guy's get him, bowl him, bowl him.
Killing the stego.
I'm dropping.
Sorry.
He died, bro, he died.
As I'd picked and carried him up, he had tried to despawn his loot. I hadn't seen it, but one of the goopers had. After he was dead, they gave me the cryoed Rex that they had tried to despawn. Since base was nearby, I quickly went and depoted it before coming back and returning to the fight.
Pull him after.
He dropped!
Bullet him.
Okay, nice.
I killed him.
After this kill, we pulled back from the fight. We hadn't done half bad, especially with that Rex Grub. Although we had lost our weakest Thylo and a Tapejara when they moved up turrets, we just fought a giant-ass tribe at their corniest, turret baiting and rocket spamming from a stego, and we had come out the victors. In large part, that was because the equipment we were using at this point was about as good as the shit they were using, because we'd taken so much off of them. After this fight, day 3 concluded. Another day of the war that had apparently started with us being raided, that had ended with us making even more audacious plays against them. Day 4 started with all of us hopping online and getting suited up, and then started making our way over to our old stomping grounds just south of their island. Along the way, we found this kind of cool bridge some guy made, so we kind of landed and inspected it for a bit while the guy was still on it, so he probably got a little bit spooked being surrounded like this. Also, the guy somehow managed to make his character look like an actual toddler, which for some reason upset me deeply.
Why does he look like that, bro?
But at any rate, we left the very strange looking man on his bridge and took off, eventually making our way to our destination. However, after so many defeats, the corniness of homeless was increasing. They did not even want to fight us anymore, so they just brought out a turret raft, So all they were trying to do was use pterodons to pick us up and then drag us to their boat where the turrets would do the shooting for them. They were also trying a not so very clever trick where they would put an exposed generator on the top of the motorboat to try and bait people into going up and turning it off, when in reality all the turrets were powered by the generator in the raft. But this was like Looney Tunes carrot under a fucking box with a stick on it to your trap. Somehow we just barely managed to sniff out that this was a trap and not fall for it. After almost falling for that trap, we camped up on a cliff nearby, and eventually Homeless made a small incursion to try to drag some of us to turrets.
Trying to pick me. Yeah, he did. Oh, there's a PT on us. Bowled him.
Unsurprisingly, it didn't end well for them, and in response to this, we started building the Great Cooper Sniper Tower. We figured out that apparently storage boxes don't need foundational support if they're put on top of each other, so you can just kind of keep stacking them up and build a stairway to heaven to snipe from. It didn't really have any practical applications because one C-spin and you would have destroyed all of this, but it was kind of funny putting crop plots on the top to give us more space and then chairs so we can sit down and enjoy our view over their island. And yes, this background footage is us trying to push some of the Coopers up off the top using our pterodons. And I think this shows you exactly how bored we were getting out here. Their new strategy seemingly was to simply avoid us, and so we risked the possibility of the worst possible fate befalling us, getting bored. And so to avoid this horrific fate, we came up with a scheme. If you can't go to them, make them come to you. See, near one of the mountains, they had a teleporter base. And the only point of this thing was to allow them to teleport to the mountain so they could more efficiently farm. And although it was defended by a pretty decent selection of turrets, compared to their actual base, it was very lightly defended. Now, usually when people grief a teleporter base, they'll just soak up all the bullets, go in and destroy the teleporter and all the turrets protecting it. But we actually spotted a decent opportunity with this one, because they had left a pterodon at the teleporter base. Standard practice would have been to kill it, then soak all the turrets, and then blow up the base. But using this line of thinking to our advantage, we instead decided to soak the turrets first, rig the teleporter with C4, and only then do we kill the pterodon. The death message will then go across the screen of every homeless member, and thinking that the teleporter is just now coming under attack, they'll teleport in to defend it, and then right into our trap. So we did exactly that. We threw out some nearby stegos, soaked up all the turrets, got up real close to all their shit, and rigged it all up to blow. And also Jimmy showed up with like a baker's dozen of low-level Dimorphodons that he had tamed nearby, which, while not necessarily a very powerful tame, certainly helped our morale. Only then, once we were fully ready, did we kill their pterodon. And so we set up around the teleporter waiting for them.
Two of them! Bold one.
The trap went off. They couldn't teleport home. I'm clubbing one! We surrounded them and started beating on them, but their armor could take a beating. They escaped and started running away, but there wasn't exactly anywhere to go. The two guys were unsanctimoniously chased down and killed.
He's unconscious?
Both the guys were caught, looted, and we made our way home. One of them had a cryoed Rex on him. Meanwhile, the other guy had 30 element on him. One of the rarest resources in the entire game that can only be acquired by doing boss fights. Or in this case, grubbing someone who has done the boss fights. These two guys had teleported in expecting an awesome defense where they pushed us back, and instead they had found themselves in a fucking goblin ambush. But having played this card, there wasn't anything left for us to do on day 4. They wouldn't come out and push us, and we didn't really have any ways of forcing them to. And so the day came to an end. On day 5, we awoke to find that we had forgotten about the Mego Tribe's strongest and most powerful weapon yet, the offline raid. That's right, about 6 of them had waited until we went to sleep, brought out all the strongest tames they could, and just destroyed everything in our base. This wasn't some half-ass BTA raid, we had nothing left. Looking in tribe log, I could see that this raid had taken them approximately 5 hours in total. They had timed it very strategically to make sure none of us were on. And when you look at the damage we had caused them, you begin to understand exactly why this had happened. In the past 4 days, we had represented something altogether unwelcome to the Mego tribes. A reversal of the pecking order. A tribe of players usually scorned as beach bobs, who served no other purpose on the ark than to be trodden on by the biggest tribes around, had for 4 days been able to fight back. More than fight back, really. We'd been able to give the Mego tribes a small taste of their own medicine. And here was their reaction. Full circle. We had started with nothing, and for daring to challenge our betters, we would be returned to nothing. Things would go back to exactly the same way they'd been before. But until the death of this game itself, these 4 days will be remembered. The time the Mego tribes had all their advantages stripped away, and they had been truly helpless against us. Long after all this loot would be gone, the memories would still remain. To them, we had become a legend. Thank you to all the Goopers for joining me on this grubtastic adventure, with an extra special thank you to Brother Box for being the only other guy who was willing to farm in the tribe, and then of course thank you for watching. Now keep in mind guys, there's no bad blood with anyone we were playing against in this video. You know, they were just playing the game the way they wanted, and so were we. So keep in mind at the end of the day, you know, it's just people playing a game, it's really not that serious. Don't go looking for anyone's channel to go hate on them or whatever, which to 99% of you sounds really stupid, but, you know, I feel like I should say it anyway.